If it was aired July let me say this, if it was aired July 2008, 2009, I would have probably already knocked a couple motherfuckers' blocks off.
I walked in the party, no friends on my arm.
Hello.
You got my attention, like a fire alarm. I don't want to lose ya, I don't want to lose ya. I'm just looking through ya, you see my Medusa. Money, 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 money. I just can't look away from it. I want it, want it, want it. You got me screaming at the top of my lungs. I must be dreaming. I can't get enough. You got me dripping off that look in your eyes. What you do to me? I'm a sucker for green, and I forgot to mention you stay in my head. You're my obsession. Can't get out of bed. You got me dripping off that look in your eyes. What you do to me? I'm a sucker for green.
What is good, everybody? In today's video, we're going to be going over my top 10 list, the worst comic book characters of all time. Now, if you guys don't know, I love comics. I was always a fan of superheroes, anime, video games, so on and so forth, but I really got into comics back in August of 2021 when a friend of mine showed me a comic shop that I didn't even know that we had, and it was amazing walking into the comic shop. I became really cool with the owners. I was a regular coming in there like every Wednesday. It was just great, you know. It was only like 2 guys in there. They were actually fans themselves. They actually read stuff that they sold, and I could actually have a productive conversation and one that was objective. And so it was nice. And then recently I found out that they actually shut down. I didn't even know they shut down because I kind of stopped going for a little while. I was spending all of my money there. This was back when I was doing roofs, and the money that I got paid from that, I would go spend it all immediately at the comic shop. I really don't like Marvel and DC, especially now. If you guys don't know, they recently put out a webtoon for Nightwing, and it was just disrespectful, so I'm not going to support them anymore. And I wasn't supporting them really. I guess like the newest thing that I bought most recently, which I really enjoyed, was Justice League versus Godzilla, and that was brilliant. Like that story was amazing. Overall though, Marvel and DC, they got a lot of problems. James Gunn will not save DC. Matter of fact, I should do an entire video on just that alone, about James Gunn running DC, all of his terrible ideas. And Marvel, I mean, you know, we don't even have fans of comics that are running Marvel. I doubt Kevin Feige knows who any of these characters are. That Captain America 4 trailer, I actively try to avoid it, and sometimes, you know, they show ads and the movie just looks exhausting. Like Falcon becoming Captain America makes no sense. He was just fine as Falcon, and they won't even try to be creative about how he became Captain America. Like the way Falcon, Captain Black America Man, throws that shield is so gay, and it just looks too heavy for him. He can't throw it, he can't even return it. He's flying around with the shield, so that's an extra what, 20 pounds on top of the vibranium suit. Like, it just makes no sense. And then two, sorry guys, I don't mean to go on a rant, but Captain Black America Man, like the suit, the way he throws the shield, the way he blocks with the shield just looks so gay. Like, he doesn't throw the shield with any kind of conviction or any type of, it's just so gay. But anyway though, I honestly probably should put Captain Black America Man on this list, but no guys, so we're gonna go over the top 10 list of the worst comic book characters of all time. I specifically compiled this list into things that I've read and just things that I think could use some improvement. Some of you guys may agree, I know a lot of you guys may disagree. A lot of you guys seem to think that I make content specifically for rage bait. Guys, I don't make videos for rage bait. I just make videos because, for one, my goal is to promote my series. I just want to share my opinion about these things, and you know, maybe some people might feel the same way, or maybe some people might not and disagree, and that's fine if you guys disagree. So as always though, before this video gets started, if you guys would like to read my story, as always, it is linked in the description down below. It is called Night of the Horizon. There is 6 chapters out right now for free. Also, make sure you guys give the video a like, comment, share it, thumbs up, all that fun stuff.
Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
Now, starting off with this top 10 list, okay, we have Invincible. You guys know I hate Invincible. Invincible is so terrible, especially with the Amazon show. We already knew that it got greenlit for 3 seasons, but season 1, you know, coming into it with pure, blissful ignorance, it was pretty alright, you know, it was interesting, and I didn't have much of a negative opinion until season 2. Or rather, until I bought the extra source material. Now, I said this in the previous video, so I won't go on a whole nother rant and tangent, but Invincible is terrible. Mark is weak. You know, I get it that he's supposed to be, you know, the series is called Invincible and it's supposed to be an ironic statement, but at no point though does Mark ever gain any kind of strength. And I specifically asked either Ryan Otley or Robert Kirkman on Twitter at the time, you know, does Mark ever become stronger, or like how does he get stronger? You know, because I imagine that he can't just like lift weights and work out. But it was either Robert or Ryan who said their favorite part is the fact that Invincible takes a long time to get stronger. I said, all right, well, you lost me as a customer, as a reader. I really enjoyed the first 2 volumes of Invincible. So like that's like the first 24 chapters or the first 24 issues. And season 2 of Invincible, like I said before, I watched it to see exactly what they would get wrong, and they blew through every chunk of just emotional impact. Like they changed everything. And it's actually another thing that I was going to talk about is that I don't think America is allowed to like copy someone's work. So like with manga and anime, right, the manga is directly translated into the anime, and you can start watching the anime and just read the manga and it's just a continuation. But in America, I guess it's like a copyright thing where they have to change stuff, but you don't change major key points about the story, and that's what Invincible just gets wrong. And 2, they wouldn't even improve on Mark as a character. Like they just make him look weak, effeminate. I hate Amber. I hate the art style. It's very amateur. It seemed like they hired just very new amateur artists to draw this story. And at the same time though, right, the way that Ryan Otley draws him or drew him like for the first like 24 issues, it is pretty plain, flat, but you know, that's when Ryan Otley was first doing the series. You know, they wouldn't even improve on that. Anyway, that's too much of a rant for Invincible, man. That property does not deserve too much attention. Okay, so for number 9, I have Deadpool. Now, a lot of you guys are gonna get mad at that. Deadpool is terrible. I love Deadpool, the concept, the character itself, but I hate how he is written. I have a couple Deadpool books, and every time I read a Deadpool story, I just can't get into it. It is not fun to read. It's a little weird, and I think the Deadpool like stories could really use just a little bit of a serious tone. Now, maybe it's just stuff that I've read. Maybe you guys can recommend me some cool Deadpool stories down below, but every time that I've read a Deadpool story, it was just very unengaging. Like, I get that Deadpool is not a serious character, right? I get that he's the merc with the mouth, but at some point though, you have to reel it in and at least have some kind of balance. It's a balancing issue. I thought that maybe it would be different if he was like hanging out with some of the other characters, so I had bought Deadpool and Cable. I don't know from what year. It looks like something out of 2014, 2012. I don't like Deadpool. For number 8, Red Sonja. Red Sonja is awful. I love the character. I love how she looks, and I like her whole aesthetic, but she's written horribly, and her books are terrible. For the last 3-4 years, I tried to get invested in Red Sonja. They don't get any good artists on her. They don't get any good writers on her, and nobody seems to really know what to do with the character. She's just lame. Honestly, I need to write Red Sonja because I would actually make her look and feel pretty cool. Moving on with number 7. Wonder Woman. Now, I love Wonder Woman, okay? Diana Prince is a brilliant character in essence. However, the main thing that I don't like about Wonder Woman is the lack of consistency in terms of her strength and her powers. She seemingly has no weaknesses. She's just all around a perfect character. Beautiful, strong, good-hearted, which is fantastic character traits. However, though, Wonder Woman's strength and what she can do is questionable because it all depends on who writes the character. I think George Perez probably defined the character, you know, as like how she just like is, especially when you look at DC animated series. I believe they use specifically George Perez's version of Wonder Woman, and I love Wonder Woman. Like I said, Wonder Woman is an amazing character. I just wish that there was some consistency to her character because I always come from a place of like, you know, the comics first, but even if you look at how she's depicted in media and in the movies and animated cartoons, right, depending on who writes her, that determines whether or not she can actually fly. I don't understand the idea of the invisible jet. Her gauntlets, you know, she deflects bullets, but she's not invulnerable, and if she's not invulnerable, then how does she take on enemies like Darkseid and Doomsday, and how can she contest Superman and be unscathed? And it's not even that she's unscathed, like, you know, she'll get like sliced up or stabbed and be wounded, but you know, she's fine. There needs to be some foundational aspects of the character that remain consistent. Up next, Draculina. I tried to read one recent story from Draculina. I picked up the book, the cover was terrible, the artwork inside was awful. I'm not even sure what she's supposed to be. Maybe she's like an anti-hero kind of thing. Her costume sucks, universe sucks, there's nothing interesting about the character. A lot of the names in that book too was hard to pronounce, and it's just not worth getting into. At number 5, we have the X-Men. Now, a lot of you guys may also disagree with this one, but I'm gonna explain why, okay? My main thing with the X-Men though is that they're not written well. Like, you have a bunch of overpowered characters on one team and you give them nothing to do. If you have a bunch of telepaths on one team and you have Storm as well, when you have all these overpowered characters on one team, one side, it doesn't work. Especially when you give them nothing to do. Like, you don't separate them, somehow they get knocked down and they're taking on Sentinels and Magneto. Like, Magneto alone can actually stop them. At the same time, though, they could also win because he'll always be outnumbered. Even though Magneto, as powerful as he is, I mean, like, they still got some powerhouses too. And two, the X-Men in modern times, like, there are no more villains. Like, everybody is pretty much a hero, or at least on the hero side. So, like, Juggernaut's done being a villain. I don't know if the Brotherhood of Evil is even still a thing. Magneto's definitely not a bad guy anymore, which sucks. Like, and they won't give the X-Men any kind of prominent villain. All they fight is injustice and racism, or not racism, but discrimination, which also makes no sense as well, because if the X-Men are hated for being mutants, then that would mean that Spider-Man be hated, the Inhumans, the Hulk. If the X-Men's main thing is that they are mutants and that they have to fight against society's discrimination, then that would mean other heroes, like especially the Fantastic Four, the world, like the Marvel Universe, wouldn't like any superheroes. Alright guys, moving on to number 4 here, we have Hellboy. I said it before in the previous video, I like the concept of Hellboy. Hellboy is a brilliantly designed character and a really good concept for a character, but the way that the author writes him is horrible. He recently had a movie come out. Why can't I think of his name? Mike Mignola. You know, the way that he's written is just terrible. You know, he's supposed to be the big red giant, and all of his situations are small and personal, but they hold no weight and impact. And the whole thing with Hellboy too is that he's supposed to look old, but he's young on the inside. And they recently had a movie called The Crooked Man. And I'm not gonna lie, I was excited for Hellboy, The Crooked Man, and I was gonna tune into it. I don't know why when I watched the trailer, I thought it would be a good movie. That trailer looked horrible. It looked fan-made. I thought I liked the actor, but no. I even watched an interview where they tried to promote the movie, and you know, Mike Mignola said, you know, hey, even if the movie like bombs or tanks or that, you know, I still have fun making it. And that's all fine and dandy to do, but why wouldn't you put effort into the story and at least try to make a good film, a good product? And that movie tanked very hard, and I'm not even gonna waste my time. Number 3, Punchline. Punchline is a terrible character. For her to be the replacement for Harley Quinn doesn't work, and Harley Quinn is also bad too. Punchline, I even have her origin story, and it's just gay. She's probably gay, like all the other major superheroes of today. At number 2, we have Static Shock. Like many of us, we watched Static Shock back when it was on, I believe the CW or Fox, one of those stations. Static Shock is terrible. I like him as a concept. Was very excited for the relaunch of his when Milestone decided to relaunch their comics and their comic universe, and they changed Static Shock's whole backstory. He got his powers through a Black Lives Matter protest. The folks over there at Milestone are just not that smart. They don't know how to write their characters. They try to lead with diversity and skin color, and it doesn't work. Wouldn't you know it, actually? Because again, I bought their brand new comics. They actually have some good stuff that they can actually utilize, and I don't know why they keep on trying to make Static Shock something that he's not. Static Shock is not a freedom fighter. He's not oppressed. I know that in the show, you know, that he was dealing with some kind of racism, but that's because the authors written him that way. I believe he's from either North or South Dakota, and I believe before he got his powers through some kind of gas, but in the first episode though, he joined a gang, or tried to, and then they gave him a gun, he threw it away, and then he got his powers, and you know, the rest is history. In the brand new comics, he gets his powers at a Black Lives Matter protest, and then they like gassed him because they were peacefully protesting. And it's terrible. They even changed his costume. The character's horrible, and it's a disappointment. And last but not least, we add number 1. We have Miles Morales. Guys, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Miles Morales is not Spider-Man in no facet. At least it was alright when he was in his own universe, but now that he's supposed to be like the main Spider-Man, or rather, the fact that they even call him Spider-Man is disrespectful in itself, because how do you market that, right? Why name a character Spider-Man when you already have Spider-Man? And when people think about Spider-Man, they think about Peter Parker, because Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales was not ready for media. I don't know why they keep trying to push his character. He has video games, which again, I really enjoyed the Miles Morales game. I enjoyed Spider-Man PS4. I enjoyed his character. I enjoyed his presence. I hated Spider-Man 2. Miles Morales was really well written in that game, but that's because he was designed to be that way. He was well written for that game, and that game was to make Peter Parker Spider-Man look terrible and incompetent. You know, Miles Morales is not ready for media. He has no history. I believe he was made in 2016, but Miles Morales though has no place in media right now because he doesn't have any history. Miles Morales could be a good concept. I mean, even if they like just gave him his own name, right? Like he can't even get his own name, right? Like he's specifically Spider-Man, and then you know, at least when he was part of the Ultimate Universe, it made sense for him to be the new Spider-Man because Peter Parker was supposed to be dead. Then they ported him over though into the main Marvel Universe, and now you have a bunch of Spider-Man, Spider-Folk run around. I don't like what the Spider-Verse has done. Again, just you know, opening up the floodgates for more casuals to come in and think that there's fans of Spider-Man. I thought that the first movie was brilliant, you know, again, keeping the focus on Miles, but they themselves won't keep the focus on Miles. Miles can never be his own thing because they won't allow him to be, okay? Like, they'll put Miles on the screen, but it'll be about everything else. It's terrible. Like, you know, Miles has no space to breathe or be his own person or to be his own thing. Same with all the other Spider-Man that they're trying to push, like Spider-Gwen, which I don't even know how that's even a thing, because what the heck is Gwenpool? You know, it's like, how do you have all these multiple iterations of one character that all exist in the same universe? I'm not even necessarily mad at that. I'm just mad at the fact that, you know, we have a generation of kids growing up who don't know Spider-Man, who don't know Batman, who don't know Superman. You know, a lot of people will say that they don't like DC because of specifically because of the movies. I've never been a Marvel fan. Like, I've always been DC all the way, even now, even though I despise both companies for tarnishing their brands. Anyway, though, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Again, if you guys disagree with anything on the list, which I know you will, feel free to converse in the comments down below. Let me know any good reading recommendations for any of the characters that actually, except Punchline. Let me know any other good stories I should check out. But that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and share. As always, if you guys like to read my story, it's called 90 Day Rising. There's always linked in the description down below. Peace.